Over the past months, I've been looking at how stories warp the perceptions of the public, and in particular, focusing on propaganda. By the end of this video, you should be better informed on what the impacts of stories are on society, what modern-day propaganda is, how stories impact individuals directly, what techniques can be used to engineer the human soul, and how propaganda has been used throughout the ages. Propaganda is a tool used by authority figures to create an ideology, an entire atmosphere. Propaganda is the tool that all leaders use throughout history. The master of propaganda in a society is able to control all citizens like they are puppets, and the information that they spread are strings controlling the thoughts and actions of the citizens. Some of the best puppet masters controlling society are Pol Pot in his quest to convince Cambodians that they should revert into an agrarian society, and Joseph Goebbels in broadcasting Nazi messages. These two leaders were able to use a toxic mix of the vital elements, oppression and propaganda, to control their citizens. When propaganda frequents a society, it becomes a way of life, as it has in our modern world. Propaganda, although we may not be aware of it, is very present in our world today. The average person experiences upwards of 5,000 advertisements every day. Advertising is just propaganda under a different name. They're both advocacy and promotion. An example of advertisements being used in the modern day as propaganda is the strong messaging campaign of cigarettes kill, whether it be on the packages of cigarettes or on television. In this case, propaganda is a tool promoting public health, and it has been effective in lowering the use of cigarettes. Another form of propaganda in the modern day is how toothpaste gives you confidence.
You've got the Colgate Ring of Confidence.
This is an obvious stretch of the truth, and is another really obvious form of current propaganda. Even in alcohol and gambling ads, these messages stretch the truth and change the meaning of what the products they are trying to sell actually are. For instance, alcohol ads make alcohol seem like it's a magic potion. We have become accustomed to these messages because they are constantly broadcasted at us. Brands in our modern day work so much on the image to be instantly recognized that when you see the golden arches, McDonald's instantly pops to mind. An apple eaten in a certain way makes us think of iPhones and iPads. These psychological links of brand recognition play an essential part in controlling our society. False and misleading labels are also a tool that is used often in our society. Plain chips aren't plain at all, for instance, because they have an incredible amount of salt. And natural gas isn't any more natural than literally every other type of gas. Certain types of entertaining media can be used as a tool for broadcasting. For instance, gladiator fights were a great use of propaganda because it enforced the power structure of ancient Rome. This was done through the seating of the people in the arena, with the nobles above the peasants. Aboriginal rock paintings were moral messages that were used to spread ideas about how people in a society should behave, meaning that propaganda dates back to the beginning of intelligent thought. In our modern world, we have many right-wing news broadcasters with a massive media presence, which allows them to spread their messages through the wavelengths of our world. Often these people resort to demonization of other people, especially when it comes to immigration, talking about taking jobs and stealing our money. Another propaganda tip is to simplify the message, which helps the people listening to it understand the messages and not to think about it too extensively. Using simple three-word slogans really helps.
Stop the boats. Jobs and growth.
Certain numbers are also unexpectedly attractive to humans. For instance, the number 7. Also, messages of short-term gain are so much more effective than talking about the long term. In the modern day, being able to spread messages is to succeed, and there's certain ways which can be beneficial. One of these such ways is by making sure that messages are delivered before midday, so that it can be blown up by the media before evening television. In Australia, it can be very beneficial to announce policies appealing to youth on Triple J, for instance. This is because messages are effectively targeted in the modern world to influence certain demographics by broadcasting them at certain times and in certain places. Grouping people into demographics helps to control people and spread your message to the people that it needs to be spread to. Even simple colours are used to influence people. Just look at the colours of the logos of political parties, which are purposefully made to give out certain messages about what the parties stand for. The Australian Labor Party uses the colour red to convey power, strength and excitement. The Liberal National Party uses the colour blue to convey peace, loyalty, stability, trust and integrity. Using colours in political logos and logos in general are one of the most effective ways of affecting people. Propaganda has risen through the ages and become more and more prevalent. There's so many ways that we are being manipulated like puppets by our leaders. Advertising, brand recognition, gladiator fights, natural gas, rock paintings, faces on money, messaging by demographics, and using colours to represent messages. These are all the ways in which a puppet master can control their puppets, and how one can engineer a human soul.